Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host Scotty McCoy, and boy do I have a surprise for you. I have on Zoom with me right now Derek Webb, and he played Gary in Staycation, along other movies he was involved in, as well as being a Spotlight magazine cover boy and a fitness guru. Hey Derek, how are you doing?
Not bad, Scotty. How about yourself, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm so excited that we could finally do this. I know
Oh
we had
yeah,
it scheduled
fabulous, man.
twice before.
I'm stoked. It took me a while to get on because of personal family matters outside of the entertainment realm, but I managed to get here. I'm here and I'm ready to go for it.
Not a problem. I'm so glad we can make this happen. So the
Oh yeah.
first question I got for you is, how did you get your start into acting?
Honestly, my start came from my fitness career, really with all the athleticism and then the bodybuilding kind of routine. It started almost, in all honesty, it was kind of like, I guess in a weird sense, it was kind of like the realm of like almost how Arnold Schwarzenegger, I guess, started his career, because you think about it, Arnold started in the bodybuilding scene of lifting heavy, being the Mr. Olympia, 7-time Mr. Olympia champion. Yes. Not that I got to that, I've never been to that point, although I love to, but I've never been a Mr. Olympia, but that'd be awesome to get to that extravagant point someday. But but the bodybuilding, building my resume with the bodybuilding and working for a company which created some good, fabulous fitness programs, which a lot of you would know of, which is Beachbody, which created P90X, Charlene's Extreme, a lot of these home fitness videos you see on DVD. I did some side work with them, being a Beachbody coach, and then on the side I did my own personal bodybuilding at my home gym. Training others to get into phenomenal shape, and then building my own resume through working out and athleticism, eventually put my body out there and my image, which led to me actually doing, I was in Playgirl Magazine in 2010. I did a December Christmas winter issue for Playgirl Magazine.
Oh, nice.
It's an adult entertainment magazine, because of bodybuilding, once again, that's what got my foot in the door, was the bodybuilding, being noticed for my image, my body, my, what I did, and then being issued in Playgirl, which then led to other opportunities and other doors to be open.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So obviously we know that you are going to be on the cover of Spotlight magazine alongside Halloween, the original Halloween, 1978, Sandy Johnson, who played Judith Myers. So what led to you being put on the front cover of that magazine with her?
Honestly, I did the Spotlight magazine. I was actually on the front cover of January's New Year issue. Okay. I did it because me and the editor-in-chief, her name is Veronica Gonzalez. She's a phenomenal, fabulous woman. She's a good friend of mine, and she's like, hey, with all this acting stuff you're doing and the stuff you're doing with the fitness industry, I'd like to throw you, I think you'd be a good fit for my cover for the new year. And I said, okay. So I did the January issue, and then me and her spoke about it, and she goes, you know what would be even awesome? She goes, because I'd like to have you come back. And she goes, being on another front cover of the issue of the magazine, but this time I'd like you to be on maybe with a partner. And we decided to talk more about it. I said, all right, cool, let's talk about that in detail. And she goes, like, bring a special guest, have a guest on the cover with you. And she goes, we got to think of a guest, someone who would be really phenomenal. And I said, I could not think of anyone at the time better than it just came to mind. I was like, Sandy Johnson, who was the original Judith Myers from the Halloween series. Yeah. And she is a phenomenal, amazing actress and a good woman. She herself, not only is she from the Halloween movies, but she's been in other movies like Gas Pump Girls and all these other phenomenal movies. She's done a lot of other movies, Hollywood films, including she herself, just like me, she was on the adult entertainment cover of a Playboy magazine back in the day. So I said, what better person I could think of? Not only is she a good friend of mine, but she has all this entertainment experience. And I said, I could not think of someone who would deserve that entitlement better than to have someone like Judith Myers herself, Sandy Johnson, right on the front cover alongside with me. And I said, sure, well, I have someone in mind. Let me get in contact with them. And lo and behold, I got in contact with Sandy, and I said, hey, is this something you'd like to do? And she was right on top of it. She's like, oh yeah, I love it. Sure, let's do this. And she's fortunately, I'm actually working on right now. I'm working with Veronica on getting my image that I need for the front cover. Sandy's already got her image. I'm the one slacking right now. So they're all over like, Derek, you got to get your image for the magazine. I'm like, Yeah, I'm getting there. Trust me. So, working closely with Sandy and Veronica on that. But yeah, no, that's really what brought that to light was just being friends with Sandy and then having Veronica as a good friend and then having those acquaintances on the table. And ironically, having already done a front cover issue for Spotlight back in January, which led to me then having Sandy come on the issue with me for the upcoming July issue of the magazine. It's going to be the July issue though.
Awesome. So we spoke about you being, involved with fitness and all that, and a fitness guru and all that. So
Yeah.
what led you to becoming into getting your start into fitness? What made you want to do that?
Honestly, it was kind of silly. What got me involved? It's funny because I tell a lot of people to this day, they're like, "Oh, it had to have been something. It had to have been, what really brought you to that?" And I tell people, I'm like, honestly, what it was, and a lot of people I get kind of laughed at for it because of all it was. What got me started was a set of dumbbells in a concrete broken down garage in my old home I used to live in, and that's really where it started. Was I was 14, 15 years old, back in school. I was a class clown. I had my days. I was a troublemaker and I did goofy things like we all do back in teenage days and teenage years. And my teachers, my principals were always on me along with my parents. You got to find something. You got to get a better hobby, man. Not sit in my blue chair, not being brought to the office. And I was like, yeah, true. Maybe they're onto something. This is becoming old for everyone. Right. So I said, what could I do to make this, what could I do? And I was thinking. And I came home from school one afternoon, and what started my fitness career was that I came home and I saw my brother, who's a phenomenal guy. My hat's off. My brother, honestly, is what helped me start my fitness career. Because he used to play baseball back in high school. Right. And he goes, I saw him working out, and he was in with their garage with the weights one day. And I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, oh, working out. You should try sometime other than getting in trouble. So I was like, all right, I'll give this a shot. And I did. So I started lifting the dumbbells, and me and him, we made it a ritual. We started doing it. It was a routine thing. I started lifting every day after school and going for runs, going for jogs. And honestly, that just built it up from there. And I was like, wow, I really love this. This is like, I feel like I'm letting out so much steam, some stamina, stress. And from there, it just built and built. So just a set of broken down dumbbells and a broken down garage on a concrete piece of slab, the floor is where it all started at the age of 14 after school one day. And then from there, it just went. And then every day was push, go. And then it was like pull-ups, push-ups, doing extreme things. And then it just one thing led to another. And then all these other revolving doors opened with fitness training, my friends, fitness training with family, and then training people on the private terms at the gym. And then eventually opening the doors to I did some of what led me then into the Beachbody program was I tried their P90X, which is a phenomenal workout program with a fitness trainer. Sure, you all know Tony Horton. He's a fabulous fitness trainer. And I did that program. And then after doing it, I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is something I love doing. Right. And I got in contact with the CEO and president, which is Carl Deichler, who's the CEO of Beachbody. Right. And I got in contact with all them phenomenal guys over there, and they brought me in. They said, yeah, we can have you come on as a coach and teach people some P90X classes and some fitness courses. I was like, really cool. I'd love that. And I started working for them for a little while and doing the Beachbody coaching thing. And then that led to another thing, and then eventually led to me building more and more and doing bigger and better opportunities in the fitness realm.
Right. Awesome. I know my cousin, she graduated from college with a degree in exercise physiology, and she
Nice.
worked for a gym as a personal trainer, but because of COVID, they shut down, so she opened up her own LLC. So she takes on her own clients, and I would like to, of course, like get abs and muscles and all that, but I still have like a little bit of a stomach, not fat, but like I want to lose weight because I used to be really thin. And I would like to lose weight, and I would like to bulk up a little bit. And we had our first session. Was it Tuesday? What's today? Wednesday? Monday. We had our first session
Wednesday the 20th. Yep.
So we had our first session Monday night, and we have another one today around. I think it's at 5. We have our next one,
Nice,
and she's
congratulations.
gonna be helping me with that. And it's just that it's been 2 days, and I couldn't even get out of bed this morning. My arm, like right in here, is hurting me.
Oh no.
I'm still really sore right in here. So
Like,
it's
oh,
like I just so out of shape, and I'm not. I mean, I barely exercise. I barely walk and run. I barely even drink water. And she's getting on me about all that, trying to get me to,
oh no. Yeah, no, honestly, man, and that's I tell everyone for motivation wise, because I get that a lot too from people, like the pain, the cramping, the aching, and then they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. I can't walk the next day. The best, as I know you're gonna be like, dude, you have to be smoking something because you're gonna be like, but honestly, my best advice for that would be just try to. It's all when it comes down to fitness. I tell people, it's the military. You gotta put a military self-discipline set in, like kind of put yourself in, like almost like act like you're in the Marine Corps. Like say, look, I know this is hard. I know it hurts, but goddamn, I'm gonna get down. And I'm gonna do those push-ups, or I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do those pull-ups because the more and more you do, the body and bigger you progress, and the more better you become, and you actually will overcome that pain.
yeah.
As
That's
silly as that may sound, but that
yeah.
pain is as the old saying goes, pain is what they call weakness leaving the body, right?
Well,
And all that is this: you're using muscle groups that you're not prone to using, and your body is so you're getting adapted, and you're like, wow, what is this? It's a shock. It's like a ton of so at that point, you're like your body, your muscles, your joints, your tendons, everything, your ligaments, they're like crying for mercy, like, help me. But in actuality, that's where that pain is coming from. But that's a good pain because that's telling you, wow, you're actually moving them, you're working them.
yeah.
And honestly, over a course of time of doing that, that pain will subside. And after working out for so many X amount of days during the week, that pain will actually leave, and you will notice over a course of time, it's almost like it never can. You're gonna be like,
Yeah.
wow, I can actually go to the gym not have pain anymore.
Right, and I was like I said, it was Wednesday, Monday night, and yesterday I wasn't that bad, but this morning I could barely get out of bed and everything. I was like in that much pain, it like hit me like a day and a half or whatever later. And I told her about it this morning. I messaged her, and she's like, let me guess, you want to cancel your workout, don't you? I'm like, well, no, not really. She's like,
No,
but you're not
no.
canceling because she goes, you will lose that pain. That pain will go away, and you won't get that pain anymore. You're getting it now because you haven't moved those ligaments. You haven't moved those body parts. You haven't moved
Yeah.
it. You haven't worked out like that. So, and like I was going for like a good hour and a half working out with her, and like she's really she's giving me a good price because the family discount. But
Oh, yeah, I get you.
because of what her like her full-time job she does on the side, and like she's taking time out of her schedule when she already has a big clientele. So it's like I'm willing, to pay. And she's like, well, thanks. She goes, and I'll give you the family discount. Like, and she's basically charging me like a quarter less of like probably more than that. Like she's charging me more than half. Let's say that more than half of what she charges everybody else. Less than
Well,
half, whatever.
that's
Like
good. There you go. Good deal, huh?
yeah, so I got a good deal out of it, and I do it all from my home. We do it over Zoom, and it's fun. It's
Nice.
very exhausting. She's gonna set me up with like my weight kit and everything like that. She's gonna get me all the stuff I need for that. But right
Oh,
now, I'm
nice. There
doing
you
like
go.
body stuff. But like, she really wants to strengthen like my core, is what she said, because like I have a bad back to begin with. But
Yeah.
like when I was doing the planks, she wanted to see how strong my core was, and I
Yeah, to
only
get the
first
core.
time it lasted 3 seconds, and then the second time it lasted 7. So I really have a
Oh,
really not good at with my core. So that's my main focus, I guess.
well, that will get better over course. Honestly, like I know you're like probably thinking to yourself, like being a beginner, getting your foot wet. You're like, I have trouble believing everything. Yeah, but your sister's, I gotta say, she's dead on. She's right, man. All that, as hard as it believes and seems to believe it, it gets better over a course of time. It just takes lots of hard work, dedication, training, effort, and then over a course of time, that stuff, it'll be like it never existed to you. That pain will never. You'll be like, wow. Pain, what kind of pain? I can sit up and do 20 pull-ups now, and I feel like it's nothing. I feel like,
And like she wanted me to run for even like 10 minutes yesterday, but I was so busy yesterday. I had a couple interviews set up, and I had to do stuff for my my video, my /Scotty YouTube channel, and
yes.
I had so much stuff going on that I just did. I like by the time I looked at it, it's already time for bed. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, wait, where'd that time go? Like I didn't even
Yeah, like
get a chance
I
to get
gotta
off.
get tired. That's a big thing I find in the fitness realm is a lot of people that like they either they say they don't have the time or the time's an issue. Which, and then honestly, the best way to go about it at that point, and I tell people, just modify the workout if you have to. And
Yeah.
if you have to do, like, say you're like, oh, I got a busy day, I don't think I'm gonna have time for a good 1 or 2 hour workout, 1 hour workout session, knock it down to 20 minutes, make it a quick 20-30 minute workout. And you'd be surprised with some of the things you can do within 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If you just set your mind and your body to it, you can definitely get a good workout in 20 minutes, whether it be in a cardiovascular or strength training, core, abs, or even plyometric sports athletic drill training.
Right.
You can pretty much do anything within a 30-minute period. It's just a matter of having to want to put yourself in that moment in time to do so.
A lot of it was the pain I was in, because like my legs, like they felt like jello the next day, and like right in here, and that wasn't as bad. Like in this area, it wasn't that bad. But it's really bad today. It wasn't bad yesterday. It was more of my legs yesterday. Now my legs are fine, but my arms and that feel like very sore. It's like I'm gonna do the exercise, of course, with her today, but it was like yesterday. I was like, I couldn't even run because my legs were so sore. It's like, and I'm thinking to myself, am I making another excuse? I'm not trying to make an excuse. It's just I don't want to push myself to the limit that I can't get to. Like I don't want to overwork.
No, I get what you're saying. It's that scare, intimidation that you don't want to get to that point. That what if you make worse than good out of it?
Exactly. So, is there an actor or an actress that you would like to work with on a film? And if so, who would it be and why? And you could select one male and you could select one female.
Oh boy, like honestly, I'd have to say, if I could, I would trying to think someone I could choose. If I could do anyone, it would have probably, for a male, on the male side, it's a toss up. Oh, you got me so hard on that one. Gosh, man, you stumped me. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I'm gonna toss it between several, because honestly, I'd say between Arnold Schwarzenegger, Harrison Ford, and like maybe even Leonardo DiCaprio. He would be a good guy. But I'm kind of gonna toss up with one of those three. But if I had to pick, I'd honestly probably have to say I'd have to go with probably Arnold, honestly, because Arnold was the guy who I looked up to. He role modeled me and inspired me to get into the health and fitness realm since I was a young teenager. And I'd say he's actually what helped me kick off my fitness in both the entertainment career aspect, because following what he did with the bodybuilding and following what he did with his footsteps and what he did obviously led me through the same doors of him. As you can see, I'm now doing film work, entertainment industry work, and things that I never thought I'd be doing at the age of 14. Here I am now doing it. And it's like all because I followed in the footsteps and put a lot of hard work into something I really loved, following a role model who I thought was a good example. So I'd have to say between the three, it would be a toss up, but I'd have to say Arnold Schwarzenegger. Nice. And as far as female goes, I would definitely, for an actress, female wise, that is another good one. Sandy Johnson, that would be nice to. I mean, I'm already doing films with her though. I can't, so she wouldn't count because I'm doing Lust or Revenge. I'm doing the Vulps, the Lust or Revenge with her. So technically, that's out of the question. But sorry, Sandy, I love you. But but if I had to do it, honestly, that's a tough one. I'd have to say for female actress, I'd probably say, we could shoot for like maybe like possibly do a classic, like maybe Michelle Pfeiffer, Nicole Kidman, someone like that. Maybe I'll just say Nicole Kidman.
Nice, yeah. And I interviewed Sandy Johnson too. She's such a sweet lady. She's on my friend list, and she's a good friend of mine as well. And she's a very sweet lady, down to earth. Very nice.
Sandy is a phenomenal person. She is a really, really well-known, beautiful actress, and she does an amazing job at her work. And she's a phenomenal person. And my hat's off to her, because she's done a lot of hard work throughout the years, and she just keeps doing better and better as each year goes on, and bigger and better things. So God bless her. And it is going to be an honor. I would get to do, like I said. That's why when you said female actress, I was gonna say Sandy, and then when I thought about it, I'm like, fortunately, I'm already doing a film with her, so that wouldn't count, because I went back, I reiterated the question. I'm like, no, wait, come on, Derek. He said it has to be someone who you haven't filmed with yet. So I'm like, nah, she's out of the question.
So, what is your favorite horror film and why?
What are my favorite horror films?
Like, what's your favorite horror film, like, overall?
Honestly, I would have to say I'd have to say I'm kind of in a toss up between Halloween and Friday the 13th.
That's how I am. I'm the same way. Halloween
Honestly, dude,
has it the edge some days, and Friday the 13th has it the others.
honestly, I'm a 90s. I grew up, I'm a 90s baby. I was born in 1990. So,
Okay.
I was born in 1990. So when I think about it, I'm like, the early 90s, late 90s era, you had a lot of the original Halloweens were coming out then. There was like, with the John Carpenter original films, or the original Halloweens were like the late 80s, early mid 90s era. And then you had the Friday the 13th through the late mid 80s to the mid 90s. So
Yeah.
it's being from a 90s baby to through the mid 90s era, like from 1990 all the way to 98. I watched a lot of the original, like Halloween. I grew up watching that. I grew up watching Friday the 13th. And so it's like every Halloween, I remember every October, every other kid I saw on the block, they were like all worried. They're like, oh, we're going to go trick or treating. Derek, you want to go trick or treating with us after school? All my friends are like, let's all go meet up at my mom's and we'll go trick or treating on this. And I'm like, guys, I'm staying home and I'm watching some Friday the 13th. I don't know, but, and I did. I was a kid, and believe it or not, I did. I loved it. When I was that age, I was like, more or less more excited to watch my horror films than I was actually going to get the candy, which is weird because most kids are like, oh, it's free sugar, free Snickers, why not? But me, on the other hand, I was, no, screw that, man. As long as I had my Michael Myers and my Jason Voorhees, I was all set.
Yep, absolutely. I was born in '89, the end of '89, the very end of the '80s, December '89. And I grew up with Friday the 13th, Halloween. Like I love those films. I always would watch them. Like it's crazy. Like I would always like. I don't know. Like the first movie I've ever saw was a horror movie I've ever saw was Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, and it drew me in. And I didn't even know the backstory of Jason or story arc. I just love that movie so much. And I
Yeah.
would end up watching all the Friday the 13th from the beginning. Then I went to Halloween's and the Nightmare on Elm Streets and all the other films that followed. So it was
Yeah.
like, it just like, I mean, I don't know, like horror's always been a part of my life since I was, 6 years old.
Yeah, same here. I'm a big horror film guy. I love I do honestly, I like comedy and horror both,
Nice.
but I'd say I'm more of a horror guy than I am comedy, and horror has been always a big thing of mine. And Friday the 13th and Halloween have been right on that page with me. And I've done a little Chucky too. Some of the Chucky day. I remember, the whole "Hi, I'm Chucky. Want to play?" I used to watch some of Chucky too growing up, but I did. I loved my two top favorites, which I'm still in a toss up with, are Halloween, the Michael Myers series, and then Friday the 13th series. So
And now, do you live out in California or?
no, right now I'm currently residing in New Hampshire. Believe it or not,
Okay.
I've done work both remotely through home because of the COVID,
Mhm.
and because unfortunately with the whole pandemic and everything that went on, when I got involved in the entertainment world, in the acting world, it was surprisingly around actually when I got my foot in the door and started leading a lot of these
Yeah.
roles, it was through some of these Hollywood directors and producers from out in Hollywood or LA.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, because of it was around January, March. It was roughly around March of beginning of last year is when my foot started stepping more heavy into the entertainment realm.
Right.
Believe it or not, just early beginning of last year, which just so happened to be around the time all this started.
Mhm.
So at that time, unfortunately, these people were like, unfortunately, to do this, we'll have you do your audition, send it in. If we like it, we'll take it. If not, then we'll do the audition remotely, which is how some of them work now.
Right.
Or some of them will do it through a green screen effect where they'll just say, all right, we like you, we got you for the role. So we'll have you shoot your scene at
Yeah.
home. They'll send you the script. Here's your lines. Here's how we want you to dress. Here's the wardrobe. But what we'll do, since you can't be out here in LA because of the pandemic, unfortunately, or Hollywood, we'll do it through the green screen. We'll plant you on the green screen, and then we'll make you look amazing, make these
Right.
special effects. So, and it's amazing to see what kind of equipment they have out there in Hollywood, because I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. I can, because I was like, I would love to come out to LA and film. And some of the producers and directors I worked with some of these films, like Staycation, for example, one of them, the Russell Emile, he's a director of that film. He's a fabulous guy.
Right.
He he wanted me. He brought up the idea of me coming out to LA to do my scene. And then he said, you better not because of the COVID thing. Stay there in New Hampshire. Because he's like, honestly, nothing against you, man, but I'd rather have you safe. I'd rather have me safe. The rest, I'd just rather play everything safe and then sorry. And so right now, some of these films I'm working, most of or all of them are actually just doing them through home base here in New Hampshire, and they're actually taking the scene, putting it on the green screen, putting the effects in, special effects, which is really cool. And then they're implanting them therefore forwardly into the movie. So it's really phenomenal. It's great. It's amazing to see the special effects and what they can do.
Absolutely.
But at the same sense, it does make it kind of boring because you're like, oh, come on. I wanted to go on set. I wanted to go out there. I wanted to actually be right there during the
Right.
But a lot of it, unfortunately, like I said, due to pandemic wise and due to COVID, it's everyone's doing the remote right through, everyone's doing the remote thing now. So it's really hard.
Absolutely. So obviously you mentioned, July is when your magazine, Spotlight Magazine, will be coming out. So where will they be available? I'm assuming all bookstores, where magazines are sold and all that online, or?
Yeah, you can buy it online you can buy it through want to say it's megamag.com, which is a major magazine publishing website, or www.magazine.com, which is you can get it through major magazine outlet stores, Barnes & Noble, online at Barnes & Noble. You can buy it online through different various magazine websites, or just local bookstore, local, you might be able to stumble across that, your local grocery store, pretty much any little convenient area.
Nice. So what was it like doing the photo shoot for Spotlight Magazine?
Sorry, what's that?
What was it like doing the photo shoot for Spotlight?
It was great. It was a little different trying to get the high class digital image because they were like, oh, you got to make sure we want, because originally they did a couple photos of me, pretty much it was just me with doing some fitness stuff. But then after I did those, they were like, oh, this ain't good enough. We need high class, we need high digital, we need high this, high, and I'm like, high def imaging. I'm like, oh, dude, are you saying we have to redo all this? Oh, yeah, unfortunately. And it's like, okay, so it was a fun time, but having to redo the imaging and constantly take new shoots, new shots, that was the most headache part about it, honestly. It was trying to get the right image down, trying to get the right shot, the right frame, and having it at that picture perfect standstill with that picture perfect image. And we finally we were outside, we were doing outside scenery one. That was me standing in front of some, little bit of a pine bark mulch tree setting. And it was kind of an outdoor naturey scene. And you could see some of the sky in the background with some perfect fall foliage looking leaves. Where they got, and we were like, oh, that's it. That's the perfect scene. And then they got one image, and it was just a perfect image. And right there, they're like, oh, this is it. We got it. And from there on, that's where they flashed it, moved it. But it was a good time. It was a fun time. It was just the hardest part for me was honestly trying to get that image and trying to do that right image. Right. It was honestly a lot easier than doing Playgirl. I can tell you that when I was in Playgirl magazine, that was a lot. I would say Spotlight was definitely a lot easier than Playgirl.
Definitely. So what was the difference between the two?
Oh, well, the Playgirl, I'd say with Playgirl, you obviously major differences. One's adult, one's not explicit. So you got one being nudity, one being non-nudity. So that's the two major fissures right there. You got playing against it. Then I'd say what was harder for me with Playgirl, because Playgirl was one of the first, like I said to you in the beginning, it's what put my foot in the door of the entertainment industry pretty much, is what got me into the realm of things. And being my first real entertainment assigned job, then having been like, all right, you're this, what we call our campus hunk guy, you're a model because you fit the, you got the body build physique, you got the abs, you got the chest, and with it. And back then I was a lot younger too. I mean, I'm 30 now, but I had to have been only 20, 21 years old when I did that. And they were like, oh yeah, you get the college physique. Yeah, that's what we need, perfect for our winter. But unfortunately the downfall is we need you, I guess in a more appropriate term, trying to put it, we're like, we need you to show some good we need you to show some good spirit beneath the wood, you know,
Right.
if you know what I'm saying. We need you to show some high stand up things, if you know what I'm saying. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you want me to be, you know, at a proper angle, at a proper, yeah, we need you to do that. And then that alone in front of the camera, I'm like, oh guys, I can't do this, man. Like, I want to do this. It's a phenomenal opportunity I'm being given to be in a Playgirl magazine. Most guys aren't given that opportunity at that age, but to have it be in front of you, it's like, now it's like, here we go. It's time for the work. It's time to do the part where you got to put the footwork in. And having a camera with a, you know, having a guy with a camera in front of you while they're sitting there saying, oh, nope, just a little bit more. Come on. We need it a little, we need it. And it's like, dude, I don't know, man. Like, I don't got this. I don't got it. And then finally it just, I'm like, you know, having to pretty much get yourself, I guess, mail ready, as you could say, as if you were getting in bed for a good Friday night, and then having things, you know, go a particular way in private areas where they should be going. It was definitely an experience, but it was more, honestly, it was more shyful and embarrassing for me when I began, because it was like, I gotta stand in front of this guy, show him all my junk with everything hanging out, and I gotta sit there as he's pointing at me with a camera. It's like, you know, I feel like I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing here right now, but it was quite the experience, but it was a fun one. Ultimately, it was pretty fun at the end of the day. I enjoyed it, but it was definitely really shyful for the most part.
Right, and plus it was like your first gig too, so it makes it, you know, a little bit more.
Having it be my first gig with a major, with not knowing it was my first gig would be with such a major magazine out like Playgirl Magazine, which is you know, that's the next. That's pretty much.
It's like it's your first gig, and it's a really big magazine, and to begin with, and then on top of that, you throw in nudity. You know what I mean? Like it can be very, you know, intimidating, but hey, cool.
Exactly. That was stressful and nerve-wracking, anxiety ridden enough, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh God, I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, come on, guys, this has to be over soon. And then unfortunately, I'm like, okay, no, the pain's over, it's done. And then finally, when it was over, it was worth it, because, you know, but just to have some friends and family, though, I've had people that were like, the funny part was I had my sister's boyfriend, out of all people, one day he goes, oh, I saw you at the mall. I'm like, you saw me at the mall? What the hell are you talking about? I'm like, because my sister's boyfriend, he was an awesome guy. His name was Mike, and good guy. He was actually a pretty good guy. But he was like, we used to go to the gym, work out together frequently back in the day. And he goes, dude, I saw you at the mall. I'm like, I wasn't even at the mall today. I don't know what you're talking about. He goes, I saw you in Leather and Lace. I'm like, what are you I'm like, what are you talking? I'm like, your magazine. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, that would explain. I'm like, that's nice. I'm like, that's cool to know, Mike. And he goes, yeah, I saw you naked. I'm like, yeah, that's a beautiful thought to know that my sister's boyfriend see me nude. But, you know, but, you know, so, I mean, the thought of having friends and family members who, you know, who saw that kind of thing is a little shyful and a little like, ooh, but it was ultimately, like, you know, like I said, it was a fun experience and I enjoyed it. And it definitely got my foot in the door and got me doing bigger and better things. That's for sure.
Definitely, absolutely. So the last question I got for you, do you have any other projects in the works? Anything you would like to promote, social media, websites, or anything else that you're viewing audience?
Yeah, right now I'm actually, the projects right now I'm actually working closely with some people out of Los Angeles, out in LA right now. I'm working closely with some people. I'm possibly developing my own workout fitness DVD, which I'm very happy and stoked about. And we are in the works of that. That is a project that is in the making, and we actually are in the middle of, you know, coming up with some chemistry for the program and some ideas, but that is actually in the works of the makings. And what we plan on titling it is it's going to be D's Extreme for Derek. D stands for Derek, so it's going to be D's Extreme. But we are in the making of that. So I am in the process of working on my own fitness DVD as we speak, and my own supplement brand line, which I'm actually trying to work on with a major company right now. NutriCaps, which is a phenomenal. They do work well with others with supplement nutrition mixture ideas. And NutriCaps has been helping me with that. And then I'm also possibly going to be looking into working with possibly Nike and Adidas on some fitness shoe apparel.
Nice. That's
No,
awesome.
I got some good things coming up in the works. I got some plans ahead down the road, and then not to mention I have obviously I'm working with a good film Project Valentina, which is kind of an action-packed adventurous film, and that's going to be we're actually filming that. That should be filming this summer, sometime midsummer, and that
Awesome.
should be roughly getting released onto major demand with like whether it be Netflix, social media, and other major outlets very shortly, very soon.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. So thank you so much, Derek, for joining me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And
So,
also,
yep, go ahead.
I was gonna say if you guys want and your fans, audience, viewers want to catch me, they can also look me up. I got my fan website. You can look up my name at derekwebb.com. You can find me there, where you can find some, my nutrition fitness ideas. You can check out my work I'm doing with, whether it be film work, or you can hit me up on Facebook. I got a social media page as well, Derek Webb, and you can, I get some fans who have already personally requested some autograph film, posters, things like that. So that stuff, it's like, I don't ignore it, but I try to get to it. It's just with being such a busy guy, I got so much going on. It's
Right.
like I try to get to everyone one step at a time, and it's like, but then outside of the entertainment realm and outside of my fan base, my audience, which I very much love and appreciate, I also have a family life. I got kids, and I got several kids going. So it's like, so I got so much going on at once. It's like wrapping an egg around a tree, pretty much, trying to do the balance and beam act. But you can catch me on my fan page, my social media pages, and or you can also, I do every Monday night, I have a live training session through trainmelive.com, which if you go on to www.trainmelive.com, you'll see that I have a personal fitness page through them that I have promoted and sponsored through their network. And I actually do a lot of live on-air fitness training right through my home-based gym, right there through trainmelive.com.
Awesome. That sounds like a plan. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to, of course, touch on Facebook. I do have some questions actually to ask you regarding some sponsorships that I would like to how I would like to start getting into sponsorship. Maybe you'll be able to help me, give me some advice or whatever.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. What was that?
I said I would like to also, of course, keep in touch after this. And I have like plans that I would like to get involved with some sponsors and get some sponsorships from companies and that. So maybe you can give me some advice on that as well.
Yeah, definitely, most likely. Just keep in contact with you and I, and I definitely can look into help you. Between you and I, I'm sure we could explore some options and work together as a team on a few different things. Yeah,
Absolutely, I would love that. Thank you so much.
definitely. Thank you very much, Scotty.
You have a good rest of your night.
You too, man. Take it easy.
Bye. Yep. Bye.